G'day, this is Jane from the Horse Life YouTube channel. Today we're at Horseland Rockhampton and we're going to show you how to fit a dressage saddle to the rider. After we go through that, we're going to have a chat to Kate from Horseland Rockhampton, and she's going to talk to us about fitting the actual saddle to the horse. We're going to show you some saddles that don't fit me, and then at the end we're going to show you a saddle that does fit me. Alright, this one's a 16.5 inch collegiate dressage saddle. I'm going to get in this one and show you how small it is on me. I have been fitted to like an 18.5, so it is going to be quite small. It feels like I'm sitting up off the horse, even though it's not a horse. At the back here, it's ideal to have three to four finger width between your bottom and the back of the saddle. There's only like 1 to 2 here at the most. Where can I put my fingers? Yeah, there. So there's very little, there's actually like no room to move in the saddle for me. If I had my legs in stirrups, then they were probably up like that. My knees are very close to the front of the saddle. Here I'm very close to the front of the saddle. So this is just demonstrating how small this saddle is for me. This is a Bates Artiste dressage saddle, 17 to 17.5 inches. It does have these movable knee blocks, so I'm going to demonstrate the angle of the knee block compared to the angle of your leg. So this one is still too small for me. Now another recommendation is to have the same width behind your leg, which is very hard to see here, as you have in the front of the leg. So there's really hardly any room behind there still. I do have more room in the front here. I can fit up to 3 fingers, 2 to 3 fingers behind, so it's getting more suitable. But the other recommendation is they say if you have knee blocks, they should be at the same angle as your leg. So you can see this knee block here is actually digging into the top of my leg, and my leg is hanging over. So this knee block can actually be unscrewed and adjusted forward, and if that was adjusted forward it would fit me a bit better and it would be more comfortable. If I had to use a saddle like this, I could probably get away with it. One of the most important things with the person sitting in the saddle is when you're in the saddle you need to make sure you're sitting in the centre of the saddle. And the centre can be gauged by drawing a line from the wither of the horse to the rump of the horse, which would probably be there, and finding the lower part on your saddle, which may be about here. That's another gauge to actually fitting it to the rider properly. This is an Enzo Treviso Lucia Mono. So it's a mono flap, it doesn't have the other flap underneath. It's a 17.5. It's got the solid knee blocks that can't be moved. Now even though it's a bigger saddle than the Bates, there is less room at the back. I've only got 2 fingers behind me. There's less room at the front. Alright, it does feel smaller than the Bates, even though it's supposed to be a little bit bigger. But there is a lot less room in the saddle. All the different makes, their sizing is always slightly different, just like in clothes. So my leg is the same angle as the knee block, even though the knee block is solid, I can't move it. But on this saddle, my leg's not hanging over the front, as in the Bates. Now I'm going to show you a saddle that does fit me. Also, when you're looking at saddle fit, you have to look at the twist of the tree. The twist is this area here on both sides and how narrow that is in the tree of the saddle. So when I sat on this tree, this saddle, this twist felt extremely narrow, and when it feels narrow, you've got no support down here, and it feels like you've got no support under your leg all the way down, and your leg just hangs. The twist of this one is obviously bigger. It is a bigger saddle, but only a fraction, but the actual twist in this one does feel wider than that previous saddle. And you see where it comes down there, there's more support under your leg, so your leg doesn't just hang. So even though we talk about finger width behind your bottom and the back of the cantle when they say 3 fingers, on this saddle there was 3 fingers, but it was a smaller saddle than the Enzo over there, because the cantle is laid back on this saddle a bit more than this one. So this is a much more upright cantle, and I could only get 2 fingers behind. So that's not always an accurate measurement when you're measuring the size of the seat and how much movement. Okay, this is my personal saddle. I've just brought it in to show you the difference of the other ones. This is an 18.5 inch. I have, feels like approximately 3 fingers in the back here. I have at least 2 inches in the front. I have 2 to 3 inches in the front of my leg. And there is still flat behind my leg that you can see here. I feel like I'm sitting in the middle, and my knee isn't jammed up against the knee block. Just because knee blocks are there doesn't mean you jam your knee up against it. You need freedom to be able to move your leg. So I've got room in here, and I've got room to move with the horse in the saddle. So I hope you can see the difference between all of them. Now we're going to have a quick chat to Kate, who is the Horseland saddle fitter, and she's going to give us a bit of a spiel on fitting a saddle to a horse.
Hi, my name is Kate. I'm the saddle fitter for Horseland Rockhampton. I have been doing it for 12 months now, fitting horses around the area. After having Brett Watson up here, I did a weekend with him and constantly learning more and seeing a lot more horses and issues and resolving. It's been a really interesting 12 months and look forward to the next 12 months with Horseland Rockhampton and saddle fitting.
Why is saddle fitting important for the horse?
Saddle fitting is really important to have the correct fitting saddle to your horse, to eliminating muscle wastage, soreness, your white hairs, your pain and just discomfort in your horse. So there are many signs that your horse may have an ill-fitting saddle. You've got behaviour, they can be throwing their head up, they don't want to go into canter or leads, you're swishing tails, that sort of thing. You've also got physical. When you pull the saddle off, you've got uneven sweat patches, heat, because it is important to have even heat pressure as well. You've also got, if the saddle is too wide on your horse, they can go down on the wither and create sores. That is a major sign to, reevaluate your saddle. And some horses, can behave quite differently and quite sensitive to the saddle. You will have some horses that aren't. So yourself, I recommend checking and going over your saddle every 6 months because you've got seasonal change, work change, your different types of work, going spelling to full work. They can have quite a dramatic change to the top line and the gullet sizing, so you need to sort of just visually check your saddle. I recommend every 3 months if there's been a drastic change in weight or work, and every 6 months just keeping a good look at it, that it's fine.
Adjustable saddles. Are most saddles adjustable these days?
Most saddles are adjustable. You will have you've got your gullet system, which you can change out your gullets to narrow or widen the channel of the saddle. You've also do have press saddles, which can, depending on the area you live in, be harder to get changed, but are still adjustable with the right machinery. You shouldn't be forcing even gullets because to change if you without the right equipment, because it is quite detrimental.
Yep.
You break, create stress fractures and everything else like that.
And you travel around and go to people's properties to fit saddles?
Yeah, so I do 2 types of services. I do a range fit, which I bring out 3 or 4 saddles in the style that you're after, or even 2 different styles if you're not sure what sort of style you want to go with. It could be a stock or or a dressage. Have a test ride, have a feel of it, then fit the saddle to the horse that you choose to create that first great ride in that
Yep.
saddle, and knowing that it's, both, myself and you know that it's the right fit for your horse. My job is the horse comes first,
Yep.
rider comes second,
Yep.
and I do my best to create a, happy rider, happy horse, happy rider.
Yep.
So the other type of service that I do is fitting your existing saddle to your horse. So that is coming out and just assessing your saddle. If it's a flock saddle, I check the flocking, make sure it isn't balled up, lumpy or stiff, as some flocking can get over the time. And then assessing the saddle, and then assessing your horse's the gullets and everything, and fitting the correct gullet, and then problem solving the fit until it is perfect, or as close as perfect as it can be.
Yep.
I will say it is an exact science, saddle fitting. Horses aren't really designed to have saddles on them, so it isn't easy, but it isn't a one answer fits all sort of thing.
Well, thanks for sharing your business, or part of the Horseland business, with us.
Yeah, I'm in the shop Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays most times, and most Saturdays. So if you have any questions or want to come and sit in and talk about range fitting, or even your existing saddle at home, pop in, give us a call, and I can answer any more questions.
Horseland Rockhampton has currently got a blazing saddles sale. This is one of the saddles on sale. This lovely dressage saddle here with $2,000 off. It is a really nice saddle to sit in, even though it's a fraction small for me. If I didn't have one, I would seriously consider this saddle. So this sale is on for a few more weeks yet. If you're interested, come in and see them.
All right, just letting you know what I'm wearing today during my Horseland saddle fitting video. This is an Ariat Sunsaver. It's got the mesh underneath your sleeves, keeps you nice and cool in summer. Can zip it up to stop your sunburn. One of my favourite shirts. And I also like wearing this at the shows with my vests over the top. I've got the Dublin tights, just the basic Dublin tights. So comfy with the sticky bum, one of my favourite things since I discovered it. You should get yourself a pair. They are so comfortable. You will never go back to wearing jeans. Dublin joddy boots, very, very comfortable, really comfortable in soles as well. Come down to Horseland if you're interested in having a look at any of this gear, and they'll fit you out. Thanks for watching.